This video will be a comparison of mutually exclusive projects A and B based on page 263 in the textbook using present, annual, future, IRR, and incremental IRR comparison methods. Let's begin. Enter the values for project A as given in the project. The initial investment is $50,000. There are annual costs of $2,000. There are annual revenues of $15,500, and there is no future value or salvage value. The desired ROI or target ROI is 12%, and the project will last for 8 years. Now, any values that are red are costs, and any values that are black are revenues. We'll now enter the values for project B as given by the project, and it has initial investments of $65,000, annual costs of $500, annual revenues of $16,500, and a future value of 0. Now this spreadsheet will calculate the present, annual, and future amounts simultaneously, and any one of these may be used to compare the two projects. I will click slowly through all of the formulas. This is the present worth of the initial present investment, the present worth of the annual cost, the present worth of the annual revenues, and the present worth of future values. And then these are summed up with the revenues minus the costs. This column represents the annual amounts, annual conversions of the initial investments converted to an annual amount. The annual costs are the same as they were originally, since we're converting to annual here. And if there was a future value, we would convert it to an annual amount, and again the sum here. This column converts all of the initial values to their future worth after 8 years at 12% interest. So the initial investment, the annual costs, the annual revenues, and this would have been equal to the original future value had we had one. And again, it's summed up here. Now the formulas for project B are exactly the same as the ones for project A. Now we must choose a project, and we will choose the project with the highest revenue depending on which method we are using, whether we're using the present, annual, or future worth method. So let's look at the present worth, and project A's present worth is $17,000 and project B's present worth is $14,000. Therefore we would select project A. And if you look across for each of these, project A always has a higher revenue than project B. Now I will do goal seek to calculate the actual IRR for each project. You may drive the total value for any part of the project to 0, and it will calculate the actual IRR. So let's click on data, what if analysis, goal seek, and we would like to set this total value to 0 by changing the cell that has the ROI, and when we click OK, we see that project A has an IRR of 21.2%. So we'll click OK, and we'll do the same thing for project B. We'll click here, we'll do what if analysis, goal seek, we'll change that value to 0 by changing this cell here. We'll say OK, and we now have the IRR for project B of 18.1%. So again, the choice is project A, the same as it was before. Now I will scroll to the right to look at the incremental IRR method for comparing project A to project B. Column R calculates the difference between the two projects. Project B is the challenger since it had the higher initial investment. Therefore, the values in column R are project B minus project A. So we have the difference in the initial investments, the difference in the annual costs, the difference in the annual revenues, and the difference in any future values. The values in columns S, T, and U are again the present, annual, and future worths, but this time they're of the difference in the projects. The formulas here are exactly the same as I showed before for project A. We will now run goal seek on any one of these using the what if analysis, goal seek. We will drive any one of these total values to 0 by changing the IRR. And we now have the incremental IRR, or the IRR of the difference in the projects. So this says that if we invest $15,000 with these costs and revenues, we get a 6.88% return over 8 years. Since this is less than our desired IRR, we would select the project with the lower initial cost, which is project A, and again the answer is the same. So we have now demonstrated all of the methods for comparing two mutually exclusive projects. We've shown the present, annual, future, IRR, and incremental IRR methods.